I'm trying to put my
We're recording.
Yeah, it's all good.
All right, can we start?
Yeah.
All right, are we introducing anything?
Nah, because no one's gonna watch this bit.
Okay. Blah, you motherfuckers. You know, like when you see those little kids, yeah, when they think no one's watching, they're like, yeah. So, yeah. So you know what? The great thing about this space that I'm in about just creating content, right? Is I sent a voice note to you, which was like, the more I'm learning about the industry, the more I realized why Lauryn Hill only had one album.
Right.
And I said, that's a great content. So I made a video about it. And then we spoke about it. And then off the strength of the discussion, we decided to just jump on our laptops and then talk about it again. Do you know what I mean? Like in more depth, because you were saying, well, why do you say that? Like, explain yourself, right? And I'm just loving the space that we're in, because obviously we've got these great cameras and lights and blah blah, but we literally are just on our laptops, like grainy, and it's all good. But anyway, so talking about the Lauryn Hill thing. So there's a couple of things, like, as I'm getting older and as I'm understanding more about the industry, and I'll say, I'm just reiterating it for people who are watching at home, is that the first thing is that the industry has alcohol and drugs at the center of everything. It's not just normalized, it's standard. Now, when people are intoxicated, they're never really the best version of themselves. Now, it doesn't mean, okay, they're not having fun, but they're willing to cross lines. When you're under the influence of drugs and alcohol, you're willing to cross lines. So that's one of the first reasons.
Yeah.
The second reason is money and power. Whenever you have money and power, and huge amounts of power and huge amounts of money, you have ego. And ego means that people will often cross the lines, and they often cross the lines of respect and disrespect very easily, because they feel like, you're beneath me, you can't tell me nothing. The other thing, which I think is an actual bigger issue, is that the industry is designed to rob artists.
That's just absolute facts.
And it is the standard. Now, hear what I mean by that. They create contracts in legalese, which they know that people don't understand. They take them from maybe poor, impoverished backgrounds. They make them go with a lawyer to sign a contract, and that lawyer knows that that contract is not good for them. And then they have to, if they manage to get through all of that, they then have to go back to the same lawyers to get them out of a contract that they signed.
Yeah.
And it's like, the law should be there to protect artists, because that is intentional robbery. There shouldn't be legalese. It should be like, hey, we're going to sign you in this contract, and we're going to say we're going to give you 70% of the profits. But the reality is, you're never going to get any profits. We're going to take it all, right? Like, they should, just like in advertising, you cannot make false claims, right? You cannot be deceptive to the audience. It should be the same in the business. But if that happened, there will be no music law industry.
Yeah.
Right? That means, all the court system, they would significantly lose money, billions of dollars in the court system. I'm saying dollars like I'm American, pounds.
Yeah.
In the court system, the lawyers, all the educational system, like, it's billions upon billions of industries that is made off of the backs of artists. Artists that have used their creativity, used their passion, their drive, their sacrifice, only for it to get robbed from the industry. And
Yeah.
and what I'm saying is, on top of that, on top of when you're hearing the issues that's currently going on with the Diddy stuff and all of the conspiracy theories that's happening behind, you realize that, well, my perception is she just wanted nothing to do with it. Because when you are a young,
You talking about Cassie?
no, Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill, sorry.
I'm saying Lauryn Hill. I'm saying when you're a young aspiring artist that is passionate about doing music and you just want to connect to the world and make the world better or make the world happy, you're not considering all the extra stuff, all these extra things that's going on.
No.
And it makes sense of her once she's done the album and then she's been in the industry, she's like, oh, I have to sacrifice this or give up this of myself. I'm not willing to do it. I'm just not willing to do it.
You know, I think you're absolutely right. You know, what you just said there is 100% correct. You know, the way that the industry is, it's fucked up, bro. And it's like, you know, we've been in the game for a minute. I've been in this game for a minute, and and obviously when I started out, you know, you think of, oh, you know what, I want to do music, I want to be famous, I want to tour the world, I want to get #1 record, you know, I want to get fans, and as an artist, that's your focus, you know, that's your drive, you know, and these labels understand that, and they exploit that naivety from the artist. So they say, oh, you want to be famous? Yeah, you know, come and sign the deal. We'll give you a 5-year deal. And you think, what, 5 years? Wow, Sony Music. Oh my God, this is incredible. And so you're getting gassed off the fact of just that alone. Yeah, you know, I'll be able to I'll be able to perform on TV. I'll be in front of a magazine. You know, you're looking at all the, you know, the surface level stuff, you know, all of the showbiz. That's what we do as artists. And these scumbags, which is what they are, gangsters, they exploit that. And like you said, they get the lawyers involved, and you know, what, you get a contract and you don't even know what the contract means, all this language that you don't know. And so basically you're just there having to believe a solicitor or lawyer that they've appointed, right? That is in cahoots with the label, that's doing other deals with the label as well, that wants to get paid. The labels are paying them. So if the labels are paying them, who do they actually work for? You know what I'm saying? And so they're going to tell you things in the contract. Oh yeah, this is just standard. Oh yeah, this is just standard in the contract. And you don't know any different. You just have to accept it. Oh, okay. Well, we only get this much, or you're only going to the labels are going to recoup X amount. Oh, this is standard, Leo. Yeah, just everyone else is doing it. Just sign here, and then you just do it, and then you get your advance, which you think it's your own money, right? And so you're gassed because you get 20 grand, 10 grand, 50 grand, whatever it is, not knowing that they're recouping that money, right? They're going to get that money back and then some. You know what I'm saying? And so it's only now, well, it's past few years, when I really realized that this industry has always been a scumbag, gangster-run industry, full of drug addicts, full of just psychopaths who take advantage of vulnerable artists that just want to entertain and just want to write songs. And now they're entangled in some sort of pimp slave trade, which is what it is. And at the end of it, you're just dashed out. When the next you know, prostitute comes along, you're just shelved. They call it shelving, or you just dashed out, and then you become broke. You become depressed. You just don't know where to turn. And you're in debt. You don't own your records. You don't own nothing. And so now, you know, people are now seeing it for what it really is. You know, when we watched the interview with Cat Williams and said this year is the year of truth. It feels like it is, because now people, and I mean, I've known this about the industry for a long while, but the common man are now seeing it firsthand and seeing how, you know, the greats, which they were, like Puff who's a phenomenal talent, phenomenal businessman. But you see who he really is. And that's someone that I looked up to, very much so. I'm sure as most other people. And I would have gone to all the Diddy parties. I would have gone. I'm telling you straight up, if I would have, of course, because why not? You know, he's in charge. He's the boss. He's the coolest guy in the world. Who wouldn't go? Obviously, you wouldn't entertain if I saw any of that debauchery. I'm out of there. But I would have gone. And anyone that says they wouldn't have gone is lying. You know. But now you get to see how demonic, how evil, how corrupt, and another word is how racketeering is the word, where you have different industries infused in one to manipulate and also what's the word? Take advantage of artists. You've got the branding, you've got the music, you got the TV, you got the media, and they're all in cahoots to capitalize on you. And all you want to do is just sing songs, Zal. all you want to do is just, you know, just write songs and go on TV. And now you're embroiled in a lifelong slavery prostitution ring.
You know, on a deeper level, like you mentioned it, and I never really considered. I never really considered how many entities are profiting and exploiting talent.
Yeah, that's the word, exploitation.
You know, because, you know, at the center of it, even if we take out all of the alleged stuff that's currently going on with Diddy, let's say all of that, let's move part of that to the side.
Yeah.
At the moment, if you look at, as we mentioned, how they do business, it's unethical business. And it shouldn't be allowed and has been operating for decades. And it is not even just normalized, it's standardized. It's the standard that you will have some of the greats that we know who we celebrate their music and they die early. They've been controlled by intoxications, drugs, guns. I'm not guns, sorry, drugs or
well, guns, because they call it, you know, intimidation.
Yeah.
You know, why have we got a gun?
Sorry, I didn't mean gun, but yeah.
But anyway, carry on. Sorry.
But the point is, the more you're aware of it, you realize it's a really high price to pay.
Yes,
it's too high of a price to pay. Because it's just really like I mentioned I was doing this video recently and just saying that, you know, since lockdown, I know you probably your eyes had opened probably a bit like earlier than mine, but since lockdown, I just feel like the world has changed a lot. And so many things have come to light and it just feels really dark. Not me, I'm saying like me.
You said the industry, you said the industry or the whole.
What I mean is, not me as in I feel dark. I don't mean my friends, my family. I mean, we're the same. We're harmonious. We're cool, right? I'm saying the world.
Yeah.
There's more of the world that's being revealed and it feels dark. I don't know if it's the fact that around election time, because I said to you before, every election time, there is always these ramped up emotions. There's always like Black Lives Matter. Oh my God, this person. And they highlight something that's really.
Hold on 1 second, Zal. My phone's back, my thing's back to dry. Let me just get my charger.
Okay, can I talk as well to them?
Maya?
Yeah.
You know, when you.
Yeah, why are you setting that up? I'll think. Yeah, so I feel like election time, they always will highlight some stories that will be really like emotional, that you're just looking at it and you feel something and you feel hurt and but you're also helpless, right? And you can't really do anything. You know, you can say, oh, I'll post this, but it's not really making the change, right? But around election time, things have got really dark. And I just think the Lauryn Hill thing, that's what it came. As I'm being made aware of more things in the industry, I'm like, you just want your peace. Like I want to do music, but not at that cost.
Yeah.
And if that means that, well, you're just not gonna go further, then cool, man. Hey guys, listen, if you guys are a part of any sort of Illuminati thing, I'm not your guy. I'm not your guy, right? You don't need to, don't feel you need to kill me, pose anything to me. You don't need to say, I think so. Let's see if I'm not in. I don't care. I'll just say, forget it. I don't want it. So if any of you guys are listening, I'm not your guy.
But you know something, Zalon, though, right? And something that you just mentioned there. And it's something that I've struggled with, right?
He's the guy.
No, let's talk about that.
Guy.
No, let's talk about that. Let's talk about
some chicken,
some plantain,
and add couple digits. You already heard him say he will.
What do I need to do?
When you heard him say he'll be at the Diddy party, he's like, yeah, shots.
No, but let me tell you something. Let me tell you something now, though. Since that whole Diddy thing, it really scared me. I was scared. I was scared. You know that feeling of let me see if I can do this. Let's just when that feeling of a near escape, a close encounter.
Bro,
right?
It's really scary, bro.
No, let me.
No, it's really scary.
No, it's really scary.
It's scary.
Let me explain.
It's a really scary concept to think that somebody who you could trust, respect, want to model yourself off of, and you feel like he is the black excellence, the pinnacle of our people, a representation of the greatness of our people. And to be like, allegedly, and I'm only saying allegedly because
it's not allegedly, because we've seen the videos.
No, we haven't seen the videos. No,
you've seen the videos of the Cassie.
The video of Cassie, but I'm talking about the sexual assault stuff.
Yeah,
I ain't seen it.
Yeah,
there's a lot of talk, though. There's a lot of talk.
There's a lot of talk.
And listen, I'm not doing that industry allegedly like, oh, blah, blah. I'm just saying it. You know how I am. Like, if I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I wasn't there. But the whole energy of that thing is just not for me. All of it is not for me. Like I've gone off it now. Like if somebody offers you some food, for example, right? And then like, I don't know, like you didn't like the way how they handled it. You're like, but
you see, I want to say something, Zal. I want to say something. And when I told you, when I talked to you about the whole Diddy situation, for me, I was scared. And the reason why I was scared, and I felt like it was a close encounter, and how things are in the industry. I know for a fact, that I could have been compromised easily, right? If I had, because the rumors are that you'd go to a Diddy party and you'd be offered a drink, and the next minute you're in and out of consciousness, and then you wake up, you've probably just been involved in some sort of fucked up sexual group thing, whatever it is, whatever atrocity that could be, whether you're getting raped or anything like that. Something could have happened, where you've done something very compromising because you're under the influence, right? And you could have just gone to that party innocently, and then woken up.
Filmed.
I'm filmed. That's what I'm saying. You've been filmed, compromised, and you filmed, right? And you went to that party innocently, and within 24 hours, your life has changed. Everything about your whole life, your whole family, your whole existence on earth is compromised. Where now you are the beck and call of gangs, people that can kill you, people that can kill your family, people that can do things to you, and now you have to do everything they say. Imagine that. Imagine it's called sliding doors. Do I go to the Diddy party or do I not go to the Diddy party? Okay, let me go innocently, and then within 24 hours, your whole life has changed. And I'm saying to you that I would have easily gone to the Diddy party. I could have been compromised. And what I'm hearing now, and I would have been compromised, because if they said take a drink, I would have taken a drink. If Diddy said to me, "Oh, we're having a lock off, you know, private party, all the other guests are going. Leo, I want you to come." I would have gone happily, you know. And I think that's what has happened to a lot of other artists. You know, that's why no one's coming out to say nothing, because they probably been compromised. When we're talking about people like, you know, Usher, people like Justin Bieber, all of these cats, right? They didn't go there saying, "Oh, Diddy, I want you to violate me." They went there innocently.
Do you think that this is the death of celebrities? Instead, that cult worship.
Well, yeah, I think we're seeing now. I think a lot of people are seeing now how the industry is, and how, especially when things are happening, how celebrities respond to things that are happening. And you think to yourself, why are you responding like that? Or why haven't you responded like that? Oh, because you're involved with X, or because you're with this. So this is the first time in human history where the public, the people, have access to information, have access to celebrities like that, where we can see the connections. You know, back in my days, we didn't have, all we knew was the media, the news, MTV, they told us what to believe. Whereas now we can ask questions, we can talk to other people, we have access to the people that know the musician, that know the artists, that know the celebrities. And so now we see the lie, we can see it blatantly. We can see you're lying. We can see that it's not the truth. You know, Diddy came out, Cassie came out and claimed that Diddy abused her. He did X, Y, and Z. Diddy came out and said it was an absolute lie. Don't believe it, blah, blah, blah. And there was doubt in my mind. I was like, yeah, maybe, blah, blah, blah. But this MF lied, blatantly lied. But he was so convincing with his lie that even I believed him, because I was a fan. You know what I'm trying to say? And we wouldn't have been able to see that if we didn't have the access that we have now with social media.
Do you know what's also deep, bro? You know what makes this actually really scary? You see, we have been taught to believe in not only truth, but justice and fairness and like the law. So you feel like with all the bad things that's going on in the world, that if law officials were aware of certain things, that is the protection for humanity. Yeah. There is a police force, there is an army, so to speak, that, let's not say army, because that's a whole different, the army are more government, but I'm saying from a police force point of view, they were, allegedly they were committing crimes where people were dying or being essayed, and the police were covering it up.
Well, is it was it the police? That's what I'm saying. Is it the police, or fragment or corrupt part of the police?
It was corrupt part of the police, but what I'm saying is, based on what they're saying, this has been able to exist for 30 years. So those corrupt.
Well, when you say 30 years, I'm so more.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Diddy? Yeah. Sorry.
That's just for Diddy. And the point I'm saying is, I can understand if somebody's a victim, how they're like, hey, I'm gonna go to the press, and then people in the press are like, yo, they go and tell the same people you had a problem with, hey, they're coming and trying to tell a story. And those people come to you and say, what are you trying to do? You're like, all right, I'll go to the police. And the police go and tell the person. They're like, what are you trying to do? You can't go nowhere. Like, you can't do nothing. And the idea is, look at my man. Let me show you, look, this is what we done to my man. Nothing's happened. This man, this guy, this woman, nothing. It's like, there's nowhere to go. As you said, gangsters. Even, listen, let me tell you something. On a real, even talking about this publicly is mad, because you're getting a part of the algorithm of the thing that you don't even want to be a part of.
But I think you have to discuss it and bring it to light.
I
But
don't think you have to do nothing.
but what you said there was key.
I want to talk about love. You know,
Yeah, yeah, but sometimes it's
I'm
good. You
like
need to
that
acknowledge.
sunshine
You
on
need
a
to go
cloudy day. You see, the day that's what I
when
was.
it's cold outside. Sometimes you have to address the monster in the room.
No,
What you said there is key because
bro, it's scary, bro.
it's scary. But what you have to
Scary,
understand
bro.
is this, and it makes sense. It makes sense how and why things are covered up. It makes sense, right? Because let me break it down for you. Imagine if I'm now speaking hypothetically, right? This is a very hypothetical analogy. Let's say I'm booking John for a gig, right? So I'm booking John, is a fantastic artist, and he's gonna come and perform at this venue, Madison Square Garden, right? And we've sold 1 million tickets, which means we're gonna get 10 million pounds in revenue, whatever, right? The venue is gonna get X amount of money, right? That same artist is also scheduled to be front cover of the GQ magazine, right? And when he gets front cover, that GQ magazine is going to sell X amount of advertisement from these other brands because he's in front cover. Now, that same artist is scheduled to perform on TV at this show, and his rate is going to go through the roof because he's going to be performing there. And you know, so all of this is getting patterned up. Then some random girl, oh, this artist locked me up in a hotel room yesterday, and I want to go to the police and get him arrested. What do you think the booker is going to say to her? Are you trying to fuck up my money? I've got this guy scheduled to perform tomorrow, so you want me to miss out on 10 million pounds? You want him not to perform at this place? You want him to perform at that place? So you can see how, whether it's not a plan, but you can see why people have their agenda, why people have their the reasons to squash that girl, or to get her out of the thing. So you can understand how these things are buried, how these things are not really, people are shut down. This is the system, because there's so many people that are invested to make money. You know what I'm saying?
So then, if that's the case, why is Diddy? Because Diddy obviously generates billions, right? Why is he now in the position that he's in?
Well, there's rumors talk about this, the vodka issue. He sued the vodka brand, and they've, you know, decided to teach him a lesson. I think he sued them and they won. So I think they now want to teach him a lesson. But what I mean, I understand that, but what I'm a bit not concerned, but what I'm a bit dubious about is, like, if they say they're gonna get Diddy, they're not just getting Diddy. There's a lot of there's collateral damage. There's other artists that are gonna be, not only artists, but other high-powered individuals that are gonna be, you know, messed up because of this action. If this Diageo, I think that's the name of the brand, Diageo, or if this vodka brand you decided to do this to Diddy, if it was them that did it, then it's not just Diddy that they're killing, it's a lot of people that they're killing. I'm thinking, why would they want to do that? Or is it a case of they're gonna do it and protect the people that they need to protect and just get rid of Diddy? You know what I'm trying to say?
Well, look, there's a few different potential theories, right? I'll run through a few that come to mind. Number one, it could be this. I think it was a champagne brand, right?
Wasn't it Ciroc? No, Ciroc, no? Or
no, it's a
Diageo or something.
Diageo or something. I think it's a food company.
Okay.
So it could be that. It could be the fact of, you know, like the Michael Jackson situation, slander your name, make you bankrupt, and then I have control, right? Or to teach you a lesson. That's one way. Another one is we no longer have use for you anymore. Yes. Another way is that the public pressure got so much that they had to do something and he became a liability. and he was going to mess up a bigger operation. Another reason could be the old guards have retired. So the 30 years that he was able to run around doing whatever he was doing, that was the old guard. Now you got some new guys who are fresh, who want to make a name for themselves, and they're like, that's the old way of doing things. We don't do that around here no more, whatever, right? And they want to be able to solidify their name in the history books to say, we're the one that caught the big fish, right? Those are just a couple of things that come to mind. But it's just, you know, I saw that it's really weird, right, with him, right? Because supposedly, Cassie asked for some money. He said no. Then they started proceedings, which then basically blew the lid off everything. And then he ended up giving her money. No, I think he settled with her after she already filed, you know, and this is what kind of like blew the lid off of everything. And it's like, I'm just wondering if this guy had all this money and all these intelligent people around him and all this power, why didn't he just back from then? If he done it, but he said he wants to stay, he wants to go and stuff. Like, it's gonna, like, I don't know what's gonna happen, because the thing is, I'll be honest with you, I don't even have faith that however this goes is what it really is. I don't have the justice system, because if he gets off, it's like, oh, okay. Or if he doesn't, it's like, you just never know, because I just think at the core of it, I just don't believe, it's a deep thing to say.
So you said justice, you don't think justice is going to be served in any sense?
No. What I'm saying is, I don't think throughout history, the justice system has honored the ethics of justice throughout the years.
You know,
so people will say, oh, I'm gonna wait until I get the verdict. But I don't think that it's the verdict, because sometimes you can have a better lawyer. Sometimes the government, the lawyer, the judge can say, oh, we're not gonna, you can't reveal this.
Yeah.
Right?
Or a deal could be made.
A deal could be made. You know, you know what I'm saying? So it's quite tricky, because all I'm going to be able to do is actually see what happened rather than the truth. I mean, I could make a presumption based on everything that's coming out. It feels like all of this stuff has happened. I don't know him. I've never been around him. I don't know nothing about him, but it feels like it based on there's so many people throughout the time. And I remember now, like, this stuff's come. I remember there's so many scenarios where I'm seeing things like, you see Mace, he's fought with J. Cole, like Drake, like there's so many artists where he's had these interactions, these physical interactions with, right? Artists have been complaining that you've been taking my money for years, like you've been, you know, like I wrote this, you didn't give me. Like there's always been stuff that's been happening, and eventually you have to be like, well, if everybody's been saying this for decades after decades, there must be something here. It's not like a one-off thing. It's like everybody falls into the same thing.
But listen, you know, the reason why I believe it's corrupt the way it is, and probably even worse than what we know, is just by common sense. Common sense tells you that gangsters have to rule the world. It has to be run by gangsters. And let me tell you why. When you get to a position of power, like you said, power, money, control, you want control. That's what you want. And the more money you have, the more power you have. The more, and there's people that have money and have power, but then there's the extra thing that are more ruthless. And so now it's a question of rich people and how ruthless are these rich people. And the more ruthless you are, the more you're willing to do something to get rid of your opponent, your competition. And so you've just got gangsters that are willing to go the extra mile to get rid of their competition, to have control over a money-making billion-dollar industry. Because no, you can't have a product like the music industry just there, and you don't have people competing to control that industry. And so there's going to be individuals that are willing to do the utmost worst things to gain control of that industry. And then another big gangster is going to come in with more power, with more ego, more evil, demonic things. And so I'm willing to kill children to have control of this thing. And you're not willing to do it, so I'm going to do it. So it's just common sense throughout all these years that people, gangsters, which is who they are, they must be in control, because you can't have a product like this where it's fair game, where it's okay, you're in control of it because you're a nice guy, or you're in control of it because you write good songs. No, there's evil people in the world that want control, and I want to control the music industry. So I don't want you to work. I don't want you to be at the top. I want to be in charge. No, okay, let me get someone to bump him off, and let me get someone to threaten him to step down. And it has to be like this. It has to be. It has to be like this. And so once you have these people in charge, what do you think they're going to do? What do you think they're not willing to do to stay in control? If I know that by saying to you, listen, I want to own all these artists here, right? In fact, let me tell you one quick thing. I heard that in some states in America, you have to check, like even in UK as gangsters, you have to check in certain, when someone flies into a town, into a neighborhood, they've got to check in, right? And some of these artists that check in have to perform at the gangsters venue before they even do whatever they're supposed to do. They have to break bread. You understand what I'm trying to say? So these are the street gangsters, but 50 Cent said the biggest gangsters are the ones with the pen. You understand? These are the real gangsters, the real crooks. That's why they're talking about people like Clive Davis, Cohen, all of these guys that wear suits, and we think, oh, they're just normal guys. But what do you think a real gangster looks like? You know what I'm saying? They're the ones that smile in your face. They're not going to get their shoes there. You can step on their shoes.
Smile in your face.
Yeah. So the industry has to be run. The industry has to be run by gangsters. It can't be any other way. And in 2024, we are seeing it in full 4K surround sound vision, meta glasses, whatever you want to call it. We are seeing in real time how this industry.
So what's the future then?
I think the future is, firstly, in artists, it comes from, I think the artist needs to really understand what they want. What is it that you want? I mean, for my sake, I just want to be able to be creative, to perform and entertain my crowd and audience, and see where that goes. I'm not trying to be, I mean, when I started out, I want to be as big as Michael Jackson, all of us, as you would, right? You want to be famous, you want to do all these things. But now I realize, okay, if I was as famous as Michael Jackson, I won't be able to go to Sainsbury's to buy milk. Yeah. I won't be able to put my trash in the bin. I'd have to shred everything. I'll have to, because people will be going through my bins, paparazzi and everything. I won't be able to go to a club or a restaurant without being hassled. I would have to have armed security around me. I'd have to have security around my children or my family, just in case of kidnap. I'd have to have my windows drawn out because there'll be paparazzi hanging in the trees trying to get a shot. I'd have to be paranoid of any females or anyone that I meet in the club. They might be trying to set me up. I have to be paranoid of any friends that come to talk to me. Family might change. I might have to be, they might want to, do you understand the implications of the whole connotation of, oh yeah, I just want to be famous.
That's why I say it's too much of a high price.
It's too much. But as a kid, when you're starting out, you don't see these things. You just see the peripheral things like, oh, I'm being on TV, I get to perform in front of 1,000 people, I get a #1 single, I'm on the charts, blah blah blah. I get to win an award and say my speech. That's all you see. But the real day life is hell. And so when you hear in the news about how a celebrity is on drugs or celebrity is out of his mind, you need to consider the existence that they're currently living in. You have to really understand their day-to-day life, what they have to go through. When they go to check in a hotel, they're being followed. The person there recognizes us. It's too much. And so you have to ask yourself, is this what I want? Should I need to be scared for my son possibly getting kidnapped, and then I have to pay for a ransom? This happens to footballers all the time. Do you know how many times footballers' houses get robbed every time they're on doing a tournament, and their families are at home tied up, their wife and children tied up, and you're on the other side of the world because they know you've got money. So what I'm saying to artists now, just ask yourself the question: is this the pill you want? Is this what you want is for your life? Forget about your career, for your life and for your family's life. Is this what you want? And if it's what you want, what are you willing to sacrifice for it? What are you prepared to? Because you have to sacrifice for it.
So I want to add, because the question was slightly from a different perspective, but thanks for that.
Yeah.
I think the audience, I think what's next is, I think the audience, like the public perception changes of celebrities.
Right.
I think, and I think it's going to be very hard for them to pull that back. I think we will always admire or aspire. People will always worship someone. I just think there's going to be a new set of people, and I think it's going to go from celebrities to influencers.
Right.
And I think like it's going to go from the Beyoncé's, blah, 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 and it's going to go into the KSIs. I think we are witnessing the transition where the KSIs become the megastars. You know, all of the, and even though they're huge already, but because the difference is, like, for example, like a Beyonce, people don't know Beyonce. You don't know her. Like, you know, give me 1 second.
Go ahead.
You don't know Beyonce. What you know is a beautifully crafted piece of content. You don't know them. Like, I'm sure, like, now when we're talking, people are going to feel like they understand who we are more because they can see how we process thought. They can see how we articulate ourselves. They can our facial expressions. Like, this is an actual closer to a real human connection. And I feel that influencers are more going to have that connection because they are blogging or connecting or making content every single day. And I think that we're witnessing that transition now. I think for artists like ourselves, I think it's going to be less about mass audience and it's going to be more about core audience. So, for example, you'll have an artist like us where you'll have an audience and they love it. And you can monetize and live a great life. It's just, I just don't see it as super mega star, especially if you get like the algorithms that are always trying to take money out of the system. They're always trying to go from organic into paid, where you're trying to get more. They're trying to get you to pay more and get people. They're always trying to tweak that balance, right? And I think that the more that happens is it's going to be less viral, because in going viral, that's free promotion that they're not monetizing on. Right. And so, like, there will always be things that will be viral, but in general, I feel like, you know, like, for example, on Facebook, when you first posted, every one of your followers would see your post, every single one. It will go in order, like, right?
Yeah.
And then now the algorithm is just, I'm going to show you what people are most interacting with. So your friends keep posting and you never see anything.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we're going to, and that's why I think, you know, it's good for artists to create content like this, and you know, to build your core, your tribe. It's just about your tribe, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. I think that's the way forward. But the reason why I mentioned what I said earlier is because some people, like I said, might want more. That some people might want world domination, you know.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's like it starts there. You know, do you want just your tribe in your neighborhood performing at 1,000 fans or 2,000 fans, or do you want to perform 50,000 at Wembley, or you know what I'm saying? You know, and people want to do that, but you know, you have to. What they call it is the law of, I don't know what's this. I can't remember the name, but it's a law of whether it's exchange, where you have you have to sacrifice something to get something. That's the law of exchange. Apparently that's the law of the world. You know, you can't get something without giving something. If you want to lose weight, you have to exert energy. If you want to exert, there's always that to give perfect balance. And so, you know, if you want to perform at these places, those things come with things, brand deals, you know, and when you sign to a brand deal, that's predominantly selling your soul. And what people don't understand about selling your soul is like, once you've signed a brand deal, now you cannot be your authentic self. You have to adhere to those brands' principles and beliefs, because they're paying you. So now you've sold your soul in a sense, right? You can't say what you want to say. Your soul is directed by them.
And that's the reason why I say I think we're going into the era where influencers become the new megastars, because they will, number one, have their audience and selling their products and services direct to consumer. So you won't have Nike getting Jordan sneakers. Jordan will have Jordan sneakers in the future. And I think that's the first thing. And also, because people have their own audience, they won't have that filter. They won't need that filter. They'll just speak what it is that they have to say.
Yeah, that's deep, man. But this has been a great conversation, Zach.
Yeah, man. I was gonna wrap it up, but I think we both kind of was like, we both felt at the same time.
No, it was good. I think it just naturally comes.
Yeah. No, this is great. This is great. So what I'm gonna do is I will send you a link. We can both upload it. I'm gonna keep this part in it as well, because this is so organic and authentic. How we doing?
Yeah, it's good. I think we could share it to our people, for people.
And let's just try to do this more, man. When we have these conversations, let's just stop and say, let's jump on the laptop.
You know, so because it's a good point, because we've had these conversations for many years, conversations like that, and it's just been us two, just been going back and forth. So yeah, it's a good idea that you suggested that we do this, because I think people need to, and we talk about everything. It's not just this. We talk about, we chat a lot of other stuff that's entertaining. So. What I'll do is when something else piques my interest, I'll just call you up and say, Zal, jump on, man. I need to talk to you about this.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, man.
All right, bro.
Bless.
All the love.
Respect.
Peace.